Me. Hello, everybody. I wish I could see your lovely faces and your eyes. I can imagine that now. Well, what, 12 people here. And my name is Elisa. I'm dialing in from the Netherlands, from the rainy city called Amsterdam. I have been living here for 5 years. And the reason I came here from another city, I lived in Paris before, it's because one of the startups at that time hired me. And because we're talking about hiring today, I'd like to start with sharing this very interesting quote I told to myself back at that day when somebody is offering you a seat in the rocket space, don't ask where you're going to sit, just join. So this was the time, 2015, when Uber, early stage Uber, joined. I joined Uber as a corporate recruiter and HR manager, and helped to build their headquarters in EMEA region, which happened to be in Amsterdam. So here I am. A few words about me, why I am talking to you and sharing my knowledge. I have been busy with talent acquisition for more than 14 years, around 15 now. So I've seen the good way to do it, not so good way. I worked for executive search agencies, what we call top 5, Korn, Ferry, and Stuart, and of course, scaled up successfully startups like Uber, and then now no longer startup, but scale up, a company called Tesla. In Europe, of course, things were a bit more emergent than the United States. As you can imagine, Europe is the market which was launched a little bit later. My educational background, I am an organizational psychologist. I'm not a therapist, maybe one day, but organizational psychology studies organizational efficiency, everything related to performance, group dynamics, and many other interesting questions and topics which can be useful on a daily basis. Okay, so today I have so much to share on the topic. So it's like, okay, Zarina, help me. Who will be the audience? Because I'd like to understand what will be the level of appetite, right? Because if I will be speaking to experienced recruiters, I think the level of details will be a little bit different, right? So what I'm going to do today, I will not teach you how to hire people, because either you were hired or you were hiring, or you hiring people. So you basically know it's not a rocket science. What I'd like to do is to share with you something you probably don't know, or maybe you know, but under certain different lens, okay? Sharing with you some important learnings, which I usually find important, because currently what I do professionally, I'm advising startup founders, usually starting from Series B, and they have money to pay me. So I'm advising them on how to build talent operations, executive search, and everything related to talent, or HR, or people. About 60% of my time I'm spending as performance coach. So I have my certification, and it's not that easy, just because I see many people calling themselves coaches without knowing actually the methodology. And it's actually a very interesting topic to see how everything starts from the leader, right, from the top, and including hiring. So I will share my screen with you, and meanwhile I'm doing it, can I ask you to drop on the chat box if you're a founder, if you have a startup and you are hiring, can you please drop a little plus for me, so I know how many pluses do we have, just to have an idea on the appetite of the audience.
Yeah, I saw a few of the participants already mentioned that they are startup founders. There's also talent coordinator with us, and now I see the pluses coming up.
Okay, wait. Now I'm sharing. I'm seeing my presentation, and I don't see the pluses. So how many pluses do we have?
So far we have 2.
Okay. And what the rest of the our lovely group does?
There's one talent coordinator. There's also a person who's used to be an international recruiter for startup.
Ooh, pressure. Ha. I like it. Okay.
We also have a CEO here for Tech Clinic. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what I try to do, guys, is just to be as relevant to the majority of us here. So we will have approximately 40 minutes, me talking. Please feel free to ask questions and I will need to see them. And then 20 minutes at the end will be fully dedicated to Q&A. So hopefully you will be able to speak up, to be unmuted, and then we can talk together and then discuss anything related to your questions. Okay. So I will focus for today, hiring best or right people. This will be the first.
I'm sorry, Lisa, just maybe you can make it full screen.
It's not full screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
Better, right? Can you see my speaker notes?
No, we don't see the notes, just the presentation.
Oh, that's bad because I hope that you can read them. And then, I don't have to talk so much, but it's okay. I'm joking, of course. So hiring best or right people. And I'll tell you a little bit more about this in a second, why I'm starting with this particular question. Who's responsible to hire best and brightest for the organization or startup or your team? What makes hiring hard? A lot of things, but we can talk about some obvious reasons and not so obvious. Then let's talk about attraction of a right or best people for you, assessment, and ABC, always be closing. We're obviously closing the deal, right? When we're hiring somebody, we're signing the contract, we're negotiating, and then the famous Q&A at the end. So if the focus for today is okay for you guys, let's start. And starting, like I'm not. Oh, okay. So try to find the right people, not the best. So this is a famous quote from the founder of Alibaba. And what I often notice, I come to when founders of startups come into me and say, Elisa, can you help us to hire the best and brightest? I always start with the question, can you please define what does it mean the best person for you? Well, somebody from Google or Facebook, those are the best. The most important thing here is to understand that best people as a concept, it is very vague, right? So what is best for one company can be absolute worse than nightmare for another one. So this is a good start whenever you're starting to think about hiring. And by the way, this is not me should tell you or your recruiter or your HR person, unless you don't have them. Then yes, listen to me. Otherwise, if they don't tell you, your HR managers or your recruiters, then maybe you know who will be your first hire after this, maybe not, right? So define who is the right people for you. And then we're going to talk about what makes people right and not necessarily best, but this is key fundamental. Know what is good for you, what is best for your organization. And this usually what a good recruiter or good coach will start from. Who's responsible? I often hear from founders, our HR person didn't hire the best people for us, or my team leads are struggling to bring the top talent. Therefore, I'm struggling to achieve some certain results, right? Or the agency is not providing us right candidates. So I often bring them back to reality and say, hey, you as a founder, right, responsible fully to hire the right people for your organization. You as a CEO, and then, of course, in case of a startup, again, I will refer to startup reality here, because if we were talking about multinational organization like Tesla or Uber, right, with hundreds and hundreds of employees, actually thousands of them. Of course, you will have responsibility, which will be shared, right? You have dedicated recruiters, coordinators, sourcers, sometimes even entire teams. So the responsibility will be shared. However, the tone is set from the top always, and the responsibility is on the business leader, okay? So this little image here is showing you all hands on deck. So in a startup reality, everybody should be a recruiter, everybody should be hiring, and therefore everybody should be always constantly on the lookout for the right talent. So this is clear, and for me, there's no questions about this, unless if you have questions about responsibility. Please save your questions up until the end. I will be more than happy to expand why. Here we go. Why? So a little bit of data. Data never lies. Top reasons startups fail. Look at the line 3 from the top. Not the right team. 23% of startups which failed in this Forbes and Statista survey actually highlighted that they failed because they didn't have right team in place. Therefore, success of the startup, success of the venture, and the strategy is directly right depend on the right people, right team. And every new addition to the small team or mid-sized team is significant, right? So it influences the strategy of the company, of the startup. This is why. So now we established why, who's responsible, why it's important to hire. I hope I caught your attention, okay? So we can continue and talk about other things. So what makes hiring hard? Life is hard, my friends, I know, right? So often, again, in a context of startups, if we compare startups with big organizations like, I don't know, Philips or Coca-Cola, there will be different difficulties, right, to find and attract talent. Here, I outlined what is important in our case, right, when we talk about startups hiring. No defined recruitment process, no tools, no right resources, no recruiter dedicated, no strategy. For instance, recently I had a case when a startup founder came to me and said, I have 30 requisitions open, and I asked him, what are priorities? Prioritize, what are you working on specific? All of them. Said, well, you probably will hire 3 or maybe 4 people if you're very lucky, but there's definitely a priority for certain projects, right? Which tools are you using? Well, that Excel spreadsheet, okay. And how many interviews you have? Oh, sometimes 4, sometimes 5, sometimes 7. Okay, so this is what you mean. This is what I mean. No defined recruitment process. And it makes it difficult, right? Because you don't know how soon you will fill your roles. You don't know how many, how quickly, how to do it consistently, and how to scale up the process. Employer brand. So how to attract top players, best candidates for you, which are also in high demand, right? Without being known as a company. Everybody wants to work for companies part of the FANG. You guys know what its FANG abbreviation stands for? Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. So you ask any software engineer, millennial, where do you want to work? Well, probably not everybody, but majority will say, I want to work for one of these companies, right? Employer brand is very important, and there's something which makes you unique, something which makes you special, something which makes you the Uber of something, right? The Google of something tomorrow. So this is important to work on the employer brand. And clear hiring expectations. Sometimes I ask, define ideal profile. People say somebody with 10 years of experience and Python knowledge and this. And it's like, what for? This is not very realistic. To do what? To do something which person with 1 year experience can do. So this is sometimes, not realistic or not really in check with reality. Location. In certain locations, you will have naturally big talent pool. Think about tech companies, tech hubs, Berlin, Amsterdam, Silicon Valley, of course, right? If you're in the middle of nowhere and you try to attract the best and brightest, even if they're for your company the best, they might not be the world best candidates. It will be difficult, right? So that's what makes recruitment hard. Market reality, location, existing talent pool. Yes. Oh, okay. Sorry, going back. So yeah, it's hard. Nobody says that it's rocket science. However, there are certain things which stands in the way, right, of a smooth recruitment process. And again, in different industry, different companies, different locations, these things will be in different order, but somehow recruitment process is very important. Employer brand to attract, right? At least you have website and you can be present on social media and have clear expectations. So this image to illustrate two basic approach. You can advertise. So now we're talking about attracting people, right? You can advertise your job descriptions, put them on Indeed and LinkedIn and wherever you used to put, and just make it out there to the world and can say we are hiring. So this approach called spray and pray, or post and pray. So make everybody know that you're hiring, and then you pray and you wait until people will respond to your job ad. And then if you're lucky, you have a recruiter or a sourcer who will go through all the inbound applicants and find one of, on average, 250, maybe 2, maybe 3, and qualify, screen, and so on. My favorite approach, based on my 15 years of experience at Uber and Tesla and other companies, is cherry pick the best, right? Where's this image is coming from? You know, when you use this image, eating cherries, naturally, we will choose the most shiny, the most red one, and cherry pick the best, because this is how our human eye works, right? We cherry picking, we picking the best. So this is the approach I prefer, and it in many cases proves to be more efficient than just post and pray, right? How to cherry pick? This is the next slide. Darling, you are different, right? This is what I consistently tell in my clients, the startup founders, say, you are different, stand out, diversify and expand, be different in the way you do things. For instance, many people are surprised when I tell them, why don't you hire on Instagram? It's like, what? Instagram? How am I going to hire people from Instagram? And how about Twitter? So let me give you an example. I supported a startup which was in need of hiring robotics engineers, all the way up to companies like Boston Dynamics and MIT, Sloan University. These people are difficult to find, even more difficult to attract, because they're in high demand. This industry is very new, cutting edge, and there are very, very few people who are skilled, qualified, and also available in the market. So example, find a group of robotic engineers on Twitter. Find them by using hashtags and search. And here you go. You have some names and their accounts. You can reach out to them directly. Same on Instagram. There are certain groups and accounts and people are following. Facebook has a great tool called lead capture. You can target a special type of population. One of the previous company, I'm not going to disclose, I used to work for, hired a lot of operational people by targeting special population, male, female, geography, years of experience, driver license or no, such criteria which that Facebook will only show you profiles of people will be matching these criteria, right? So it will be targeted campaign, and it was pretty successful. So diversify your platforms. Maybe your candidates will be in GitHub, maybe they will be in Twitter, maybe they will be on YouTube, commenting under the video of a specific technology somebody is describing. Who knows? So what I'm usually saying, remember that you need to stand out from the crowd, right? If the entire industry hiring by posting on LinkedIn, well, it is mainstream. Try to think outside of the box. And again, this works when you don't have recruiter. This works when you have recruiter and you need to think with him or with her outside of the box. But this is where you can reach out to candidates which are not spammed by 10 messages per day via LinkedIn, right? So you can show that you're also creative. Write compelling job descriptions. I often read job descriptions and say, can I show you something else? I just go on the website of Netflix or Amazon or Google, FANG, right? And say, and now the same, finance manager or software development engineer. And say, can you read the difference? Can you see? I'm asking my hiring manager to give me his feedback and say, yeah, that sounds really appealing. Like, just get inspiration. I don't want you to copy paste, but at least see how the good companies write in their job descriptions, how appealing it is, starting with why you want to be part of this company, this project, do this function, what will be your impact, right? This is directly appealing to our reptilian brain, and our emotions are making us think, no, act actually and apply, right? Since we talking about advertising the roles. Compelling, you can define the way compelling by asking anybody, a stranger, your friends, your relatives, like, does it sound interesting? Or my job ad reads as anybody else could have wrote it. Yeah. Okay. Do you still see my screen? Yeah. Continue. So this image is showing the right tools. With right tools, things can be more efficient, right? Sometimes even when you build in IKEA furniture, you need to have right tools. Without them, it's just impossible or will be very painful. So here, I'd like to introduce the topic of referrals, specifically for startups. But it's not just, again, guys, do we know somebody who can do this? Think specifically about groups, about communities, about places you studied, you go to for mentorship, for advice, and tell everybody, this is what we're hiring, refer somebody. And some companies give a referral bonus. Some companies are very grateful and just say, hey, this will be just thank you at the moment, but we're grateful and we will remember this favor and we'll pay it forward. So up to 85% of jobs are filled via networking. So I know somebody who knows somebody who can know your candidate. Yeah, social media, again, social media, which is beyond LinkedIn. Again, some recruiters skillfully know how to hire even via WhatsApp. This is the data of 2019, but with COVID, the process of digitalization even accelerated even more. So here is this little image of how normal, usual process, classical process works, right? On average, 250 resumes, you have 4 to 6 to interview, hire one, what to do with the remaining candidates. They might be relevant, they might not be relevant. So what I'm talking about is see by the time you spend to process all the irrelevant resumes rather than reaching out to right channels and talking to right people. Now, imagine we attracted some people here, right? Some quality candidates, and you have impressive resumes in front of you. You selected 5 or 6. And now, what do we need to measure? Often, I see that it is easy to be impressed, right, by the big names on the resume, universities, projects, some people even hiring professional resume writers to make the experience look like exactly what the company is looking for. So here, it is very important to measure skills and potential. Technical skills, can you code? Do you understand a financial statement? can you pick up the phone and order lunch, for instance, right, for different type of jobs. And also soft skills, which are very important, if not even more important, for the successful completion of the job, right? So example of the soft skills: adaptability, collaboration, growth potential, and prioritization. Growth potential is probably one of the most important soft skill, because the company you hiring for today, in 1 year, most probably, in case if you're a startup, will probably double the size, launch different product, completely pivot and change direction in their North Star. I'm going to give you an example. When I joined Uber and I was hiring public policy associates and legal professionals, in 2015, the company hired around 4,000 employees. 18 months after, company was 11,000 people, right? So you can imagine that the company, even cultural values changed, the spectrum of the job. And often people who were hired as individual contributor 18 months after were already managing or leading the team of 5, sometimes 10, 15 people, right? So hiring for potential, especially for startups, should be one of the key criteria to measure, right? So quick recap. We talked about attraction. So once you're attracted, you have potential candidates, right? How to choose, how to make sure that you hiring the right candidate for you. Remember, we started from this notion, hiring the best for your case, for your company. And this is where it starts. Define what is important, right? Which technical skills are crucial for you. And again, when I see 5 years of experience, I often challenge this, because imagine somebody who goes to the swimming pool for 5 years once a week. And say, yeah, I've been going to swimming pool for 5 years. And somebody who is Olympic champion, right? And goes to the swimming pool every day and swims for a couple of hours. Both have 5 years of swimming experience. Performance will be different. So sometimes 5 years doesn't say anything, that the number of years. What you need to measure is technical skills, how to do it. Exercise, practical assignments. It will be next slide. How to measure soft skills. Often interviews, behavioral interview questions. There are plenty of them on the internet. You can find. So skills, technical skills and non-technical need to be measured, absolutely, in interview and other type of assessments. Character. How do we measure people's character? How do you know if the person you're going to work with will be your friend, will be your beloved colleague, you will be inviting this person for dinners? There's something which unites us with people, something where we relating to each other. It's our values, it's our aspirations, and something which we have something in common, which everybody is deeply caring about. So this is how we're assessing character. What is important for you? How do you choose, right? Which lens you look through when you're taking decisions? It's all about core values and the cultural fit. Some companies will have very particular culture, cutthroat, result is only what's count. Some companies will have completely different, opposite. They will be very inclusive, they will be very kind, sometimes slow, and it is impossible that the same candidate will be equally efficient and also striving in both environments. It's impossible, right? So we need to make sure that we're assessing cultural fit. There are questions for this. There are very specific way to do so. How? So first, and the most big one, part of the assessment is, everybody knows, right? Interviews. You know what? I'm going to tell you that I sit in many interviews, and the majority of them were not behavioral interviews. They were just biographical interviews. Tell me about yourself. What's in your resume? Where did you study? Tell me about projects you've accomplished and you successfully participated, right? Behavioral interview questions. You need to find a pattern how the candidate behaves. And usually it is required. Remember, we talked about recruitment process, defined process, what it is important for us, what skills are we assessing in a behavioral interview, adaptability. Okay, so then we will dig specifically with our behavioral interview questions into adaptability. Maybe we probe in for leadership potential. The person we're hiring is not a leader yet, right? It is individual contributor, but in 2 years' time, this person will need to lead a team. And we want to know if this person will be capable to step up and grow. Does he or she has leadership potential? Again, there's thousands and thousands of behavioral interview questions, which as a founder, as a recruiter, or whatever you do in your current venture, you might want to ask your candidates. What I did in one of my previous company, I would just put my interview panelist, whoever will be interviewing candidate, question in a calendar invite. Please ask this type of questions. And I will be happy to share with you some questions, some examples. Maybe if at the end of the webinar, you would like to write me a little note, give me feedback, what you liked, what you didn't, and in exchange, I can share with you some of my favorite behavioral interview questions, which you can use in your next interview. Specific technical assignments usually helps to assess technical skills, right? Very commonly used in tech area. Please create the app, do certain things for us, and then we will check. But very few people use such assignments for operational jobs, for finance, for marketing. Create a PowerPoint presentations and be as vague as possible to see how the person, the candidate, operates under ambiguity situation, right? This is the case study. We're launching our operations in a new city. We're launching a new product. What will be your actions during the first 30 days? You see how many slides person prepares, how much research this person does, how much questions this person asks before, after, during. You see the level of autonomy. You see how person is acting under pressure, right? No information, ambiguity. There's no wrong or right answers. See how the person reacts, right? Very easy to create. You just need to think about this in advance when you're defining the recruitment process, okay? But this is key. Sometimes you can ask an office manager, candidate for office manager, to read for you a contract where you put some mistakes on the spot and see, what do you see? What is missing? What is just, there's no place for signature, for example, right? There's a very important mistake made in the company name and the logo. See how, why you do this. You obviously need to be able to respond to yourself before this. What skills are you testing with this assignment? It's not just assignment for assignment. And the last one, informal team activities. Imagine you have two candidates, behavioral interviews, great, responded with glow, technical assignment was amazing, and somehow you're still hesitating. Invite this person for drinks with the team, or maybe lunch. See how this person acts when the pizza arrives with wrong toppings. Maybe it's just an outing with the team where you're playing Lego, and you see, or building a puzzle, you see how this person reacts in relaxed atmosphere. And trust me, I had many cases when somebody invited for just a very simple team lunch ended up creating a nervous breakdown because something was missing in the plate. Needless to say, right? We didn't hire this person in the end. Dodged the bullet. Okay, continue. I know you guys might have questions. Please write them down. I'm gonna circle back to your questions at the end. So as I said, there are many questions, behavioral interview questions available. Even if you Google behavioral interview questions for adaptability, you will have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. So this was the moment when I actually wanted to ask you, knowing that, hoping that I will be able to see you and you will be unmuted. What is your favorite question to ask in an interview, right? So here's an example of Jeff Bezos. He would ask these 3 questions, which often, even after interview, when you close your eyes and you think about the candidate after the interview, ask yourself, will you admire this person? You can ask somebody who interviewed this person before and pitches his person as ideal candidate to you. Will you admire this person? Admire for what? What does it mean, admire? Looking up, right? And being inspired by. Will this person increase the average level of effectiveness of the group they join? About 20 years ago, you probably know that Amazon introduced a very famous now program, which calls Bar Raiser. First, they introduced this in their technical teams. So there will be dedicated person. Well, the first principle. So every next hire should raise the average of the team, meaning that every next person you hire should be better than the team together, right? So if you have people graduated from technical universities, this person should be even more skilled and qualified, or even more passionate and experienced. So they went even further. Amazon, even up until today, they are appointing an independent, just an employee from different team who will be having as a task assessing being better than the average of the team. And this person will come to the interview right in the middle. Nobody will know who is the bar raiser, and will ask specific questions to assure that their education, credentials, experience, and overall mindset of the specific candidate raises the bar of the team. And many founders come into me and they sometimes say, I keep hiring great people. I'm feeling imposter syndrome. One day they will be better than I am. Please keep doing this if you already do, because you always need to hire people who are better than you, because this is the only way that your startup, your venture will succeed. What is your favorite interview question? I wanted to ask. Maybe you can put it in the chat box. Some advanced stuff. Okay, so imagine if you are a scale up and not startup anymore. Imagine that you are Series B, Series C, you have millions in funding, right? Which I guess it's probably not the case here. So let's see that this probably will be a webinar I will be addressing to slightly different population, right? And we'll talk about some advanced way to make recruitment or hiring professional, even more polished, right? So how to bring and retain best people with the right framework, using right tools, white glove approach with candidates, having data integrity. So these challenges, they usually come in when you got the basics right, okay? And again, if you start with nitty-gritty basics, or we want to have right data before you're defining what you're hiring for, what are your priorities in terms of business, and having basic interview questions mastered. Don't go into roadmap, A/B testing, source and sprints, use cases, because this probably will distract you in the beginning, right? And I see that many companies, they hire in recruiters who probably, want to do everything in the same time and make it excellent before they put solid foundation of the basis. What is the best candidate for us? Where this candidate is living, right? How are we gonna attract them, and which platform? How are we gonna be different, right? Remember, darling, you're different. Okay, and this is what I keep telling. Founders, recruiters, hiring managers. ABC, always be closing. So whoever interviews the candidate, first person, last person, just checking in to see if the team will like, you're closing this candidate, right? The way you talk to the candidate, the way you ask questions, the way you preparing for the interview, the way you read the interview, the way you put your camera on and you give full attention for the interview and not just type in, you're already closing this candidate. Specifically for the startups, it is important to be very mindful that you're in competition with others, and the process of interview, the whole candidate experience will be one of the decisive elements. What else? Be competitive in your offers. Well, I not encourage you to buy expensive and sophisticated salary survey, but every candidate you're speaking with, even if it's just a phone screen, ask, what are your compensation expectations? So after speaking with 5 candidates, you know more or less the market, right? It might not be specific and accurate, but you know the range, okay? So you know what the market is currently paying these people. So you will not be completely outside of the range or outside of the market reality. Yeah, you can buy the market data. If you're a 30 people startup, you probably will not, this will not be your first priority, but ask around, ask network, ask your friends, what is the salary range? And again, in different locations, it will be very different number, right? Because the cost of living is different. Somebody who makes $100,000 in Silicon Valley will not be on the same salary in Berlin, for example, right? That's normal. So you need to know where you're hiring and what is the market reality. Communicate consistently. So imagine you have somebody in a process, right? And this somebody been interviewed 4 days ago, tomorrow is Friday, right? Drop a note and say, hey, still interviewing, thinking about you, have a good weekend. Every 5 days, the candidate needs to hear from you, even if it's just check in. How are you doing? Are you still keen? We finalizing something. Things are moving fast, and 5 days radio silence can be often perceived as lack of commitment. You don't want him anymore. You close the position. You hired somebody else. You promoted from within. You name it. Be creative. For instance, if you can't offer competitive base salary, you're not yet there, right? Series B or Series C, offer something which would be one of the elements of the package. Work from home, remote working from, I don't know, Caribbean, Barcelona. It can be perks. It can be, look, we're offering certain, I don't know, 37 vacation days, right? Which for some people with families will be more important than extra 5K on the base salary. So think about what else can you add? Of course, equity. Everybody is coming to you for equities. You might not give a competitive equity package, but think about some creative stuff. You maybe can offer some online classes, some products which, for example, Uber early days offered a significant benefit, which was $333 in Uber rides. Amazing, right? Which is taxable benefit. Just keep this in mind, right? That it's also part of the benefit, therefore it's taxable. And use white glove approach. You know, when you're dealing with very expensive watches, just an example, when you go into expensive boutique, before the shop assistant will take something and show it to you, you might probably wear white gloves, right? Meaning that it is handled with care. We don't want to leave any marks. So every candidate should experience this white glove approach, meaning send a card at the end of the process while you're negotiating the offer. Very small things. Communicate consistently. Send a thank you note. You see, it's reversing now, because before candidates were doing this. Thank you note after the interview. Reverse the process and put your white glove and make the candidate, he is important, he matters to you, because maybe you don't have yet a big brand name, but you're competing with those who already do have, right? So put your white glove and treat every candidate as a very special. If you are a startup founder or CEO and you know that one of your direct reports, team leads, is trying to hire a very key important candidate, give him a call, send him a note, say, hey, I'm a founder, heard about you, maybe even interviewed him. What can I do to make you choose us, right? Put your white glove approach. Yeah. What else? I think
we have some questions already in the Q&A box. We actually have some answers, first of all, to the question about the questions. So basically, there are some favorite questions in the chat, such as, how do you see your job value in the next 2 years? What would you do if you are a CEO of a company that you desire to be one day? That's an interesting question, though.
I'm not sure I understand. What would you do if you are CEO of a company that you desire to?
That's not the question to you. Basically, that's the on the previous slide.
Oh, the question. Yes. Love it. Absolutely. Love this question. This is immediately shows ambitions, right, of the candidate, the way the person projects his humility, but also, you know, that dare to dare to dream. This is a great one. I thought, oh my God, it was a question for me. Like, I don't know.
No, but there are some questions for you as well. I see that 3 people dropped. Actually, I think two questions are from the same person. It's just written anonymous attendee, so I cannot really see who it was. But Mahmoud, for example, if you want to ask the question out loud and join the stage and ask, it's also totally fine. So if anybody wants to ask the question on the stage, just raise your hands, please.
10 minutes. So guys, any questions?
Yeah, I can invite. I see that Mahmoud is already saying how. So I guess it means that he's ready to ask, but I see 2 Mahmouds. So maybe I will allow 1 for now. Is it the right one? Is it, yeah? Oh, 1 second. No, the other one.
Yes. Hello.
Hi.
First of all, thank you very much for arranging this, Zarina, for this interesting
Welcome. Thanks to Elisa.
And thank you, of course, a big thanks to Elisa for the fruitful information and the insights. My question is, I would share my experience with you. And ask your advice on how you see it. For me, I am a CEO for the last 9 years, and for positions that are senior, my methodology is headhunting.
Cherry picking.
It never worked, like spreading a job descriptions over the platforms and then wait people to send their CVs. We never received. We started like that at the beginning, but we never received the fit for our vacancy. So, how do you see headhunting, especially the technical?
So, I probably was not clear in my presentation. This is my favorite way to hire. So cherry picking meaning headhunting, right? Coming to candidates directly. And this is an excellent question. And thank you so much, Mahmoud, for allowing me to get back to this and circle back. Because of course you can wait forever before somebody good sees your job ad and sends you your resume. Most probably it will be too long. So you can pray a long time, but it's not going to happen. So yes, coming proactively to people and say, hey, can we talk? This is what I have. I have an open vacancy and this is an amazing opportunity for you. And then you tailor-made your why, because for somebody like you, this will be a great moment to jump into XYZ, to try, whatever. So yes, this is my favorite approach and it's also the most efficient.
Thank you very much. If I also may share, it is not only the money that attracts people. It is money is one thing, but people want to evolve and develop themselves in order to reach better positions or to have a better reputation or, to become leaders, to lead their own companies in the future. So and some people just, yes, sorry.
Go ahead.
And some people, they just, like the reputation that they are doing 1, 2, 3. So what I do normally is I consider the desk, the behavior. So according to what's the behavior of that person, what interests him or her, I just go from that door and dig on the subject that they like more.
The opportunities, you're talking about opportunities, and I like that you bring the personality assessment. DISC is a very popular one, which allows to discover your leadership profile, basically, right? For somebody who wants to impact and influence, you probably will talk about, hey, the salary is competitive, but this department might need to expand in the next 2 years, and there will be an opportunity for you to grow to a team lead, which probably will be more important for somebody who is looking there's an extra 10K on a job offer at the end of the day. You're absolutely right. And this is what makes you creative, by packaging what you're offering, right? Not only monetary reward, but also the opportunity. So this is why it is very important to assess character, to understand what the candidate is valuing, what are the values important for him, right? He wants to have save the world, well, have an impact, right? Do something very much in line with the company purpose and the mission. So connect it and package it in a pitch, which you will be delivering at the end as somebody who is closing the candidate.
Sure.
Great point. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahmoud, for your question. We have 2 more questions and we have some time. So maybe I will just read it. I cannot find the person who sent the question, unfortunately. First, what can a startup offer if the company that is competing with me for a candidate have more budget or more reputable in the industry?
Well, sometimes the company can't offer you more money, right? There's just simple limitation of the budget. So some creative perks. Well, if I was this company, I would ask you as a candidate, what is important for you? What makes you tick? And normally throughout the process, we're already supposed to know what is important for you as a candidate, right? Maybe you need free time. Maybe you have 2 kids and 2 dogs, and you need to live where you are, somewhere in Crimea, in Russia, by the Black Sea. And therefore, why don't you spend half of your time there, and then we will find a way with the taxation and will not relocate you. Or there should be already some sort of information gathered which will help to come up with certain ideas, right? Maybe perks in terms of maybe equity, but okay, if they can't offer equity, there's something should be, but sometimes simply nothing. Sometimes you simply need to walk away and wait and stay friends with the company when they will be able to offer you what you want or what you're worth or what is important for you. So what I say to candidates, let's now go to different side. It is always have in mind your walkaway number, below which you can't stay, right? Otherwise you won't be able to pay your bills. Then second number you have in mind when you're negotiating is your wow money, right? What will be the money you will be happy to accept? And for more information on this topic, if you ever read the book of Chris Voss, he has an amazing book which called Never Split the Difference. He basically teaches negotiation techniques. And I recommend this book to read for everybody who negotiates anything. And basically we're all negotiating something. Right, so this is on the question of offering to as a startup, right? Did I respond to your question?
We hope so, because we don't know who asked this question.
Okay, we can't ask for the feedback. Okay, all right, I hope so.
And actually, talking about the books, I just invited Rajesh because he had 2 questions and one of them were about the books. So now he will ask his question.
Yeah, Elisa and Serena, good. I mean, I'm from India, so it's gonna be good evening, late evening here. So it's great session. So I just wanted to know the best books available, for hiring the best talents, right? Basically, I mean, I've gone through the top grading stuffs and all that, but I'm just looking at some suggestions from you, couple of books, so that we can start getting that and better myself.
Let me ask you, which part? The process, the interviews, the sourcing part, the reach out to candidates? What part of the, because
I mean,
hiring?
I'm a startup founder, so I do everything from myself alone, right? I look at candidates, sourcing the candidates, talking to them, making them interested, then screening, and till the tech, I do everything. to make them interested, and then I handhold with the tech guys, so they do the tech interview. They'll come back to me, then I talk about the other cultural fits, and then I talk about the offers. I mean, I know little offers initially when I talk, I know little on the range, but when after the tech done and they're all good to go, I will start talking about the package and stuff like that. So literally I'm doing everything except the tech stuff. Okay.
So you want the book on everything. You want a magic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See,
no I know a book which I'm reading, Smart and Get Things Done. By Joel Spolsky. Yeah, I read that some time back. I'm just reading it again, but I just wanted to know a little more.
Let me think and get back to you. There might be few. So there might be few books different on different topics, right? How to assess the best, how to, nail down the assessment part, right? The behavioral interview questions. Can you drop me a quick email at the end of the session? I'm going to put it now in the chat box, and basically for everybody, feel free to stay in touch. And then I'm going to get back to you on this one. Because I need to think.
Definitely, these times the tech is very hot, and these guys having at least 5 offers. When whoever I'm talking to, at least they have multiple offers, right? So we don't know at the last moment whether they're going to join or not join. So that's
keep in touch, keep checking in, and ask how many, what is happening. Sometimes people will tell you, I'm talking to Facebook and Google, and then another startup, and then ask questions. Don't hesitate. There's one book which I really, really love called Say Less, Ask More, and Change the Way You Lead Forever. It's a coaching book which basically teaches the leaders, stop talking, ask questions. Whenever somebody comes to you with the challenge, like, what's hard about it? Tell me more and more. And then, so that's the same. Ask your candidate. Remember, every 5 days when you just getting in touch, hey, what's up? What's going on? Who else are you talking to? Interesting. So where are you in your decision process? What is important for you at this stage? What else can I tell you? Maybe you come over for the chat with the team. What else is unclear, right? What else can I share with you to make your decision easier? And you better know it early. Then you count on this candidate, and he's not telling you, and he's dropping off 5 weeks after. And then he might tell, you know what, nothing. I think I will go with another company. Then go. But you know about this much early. Don't hesitate to ask questions. Every time you're interacting with the candidate, who else are you talking to? What the ranges they're offering? And you will be surprised how much people share it. If you ask right questions.
No, that's right. We'll get a hint when we call, and 5 days is a good example. So when we call, and if they're not picking the phone, then I mean you can see the behavior, right?
You feel
so
it. That's not good.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'll think about the book. Definitely get back to you. And if you have any other questions, I don't know, Zarina, maybe we have a few more minutes. How do you feel about
it's time, but since we started for like 2 minutes later, maybe we have 1 more minute. Thank you, Rajesh, for your question.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And one more question. It's from the same anonymous attendee.
Okay.
So they're asking if there are any templates to make the job description different on social media to stand out. That comes from the Darling, You're Different slide.
Well, there is no template which one size fits all. And please, if somebody ever sells you this, don't buy it, because then, find your own. What I usually suggest is get inspired. When you're about to renovate your kitchen, what you do, you go to Pinterest and say, wooden light kitchen, and you see what's there. And then sometimes you like it, sometimes you hate it, and you create your own mood board. Go up there and check what you have online for this combination of words and get inspired. And sometimes you see the sentence, or you see the way things described. Get inspired. Please don't copy paste, because this will be the worst, because somebody was like, I already saw it, just applied yesterday, and then it sounds exactly the same. But just see how you can, learn from the best and inspire. Yeah. So just go and browse. And I ask you, found mainly Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. Okay, this will be enough. And regardless of the location and the job, just see how the way they describe it. And often start with what? Why you want to work as chief accountant for our company. It's boring job, but hey, here you will be able to put things in place. Here you will be able to inspire and lead the team. Here is what in it for you, not for me. I need you to have 5 years of experience and this and this and this. What are you going to gain as a candidate, right? This you feel, because people don't want jobs. People want mission. People want to be fulfilled. They want dream, right? They don't want to check at the end of the paycheck at the end of the month. They want to feel that they belong to something much bigger. So let them feel it, right? In the first line, this is what you're going to do. It will be part of great story. Okay, I'm being carried away here, clearly. So, Serena, do we have more questions?
No, we don't have any more questions. Just in case, I shared one more time emails of Elisa and mine as well. So if you have any other questions or maybe anything else we can help you with, feel free to reach out. And of course, I would like to thank you, Elisa. This webinar wouldn't be possible without you. And thanks a lot. I think it was very great and useful. Even I caught myself at some point just listening like this, and I was like, oh my God, is my camera off? Because I'm like getting too comfortable. So it's good that I see that. I hope everybody enjoyed, and I really hope that you will be back for our next webinars. Yeah, so as always, thank you, Elisa. Thank you, participants. Once again, this webinar is a part of Seedstars mentorship, and if you would like to become a mentor or know how the Seedstars Mentors platform work, just drop me an email. I will reply to you as soon as possible. So yeah, everybody have a great evening. For me, I guess for some people it's still a morning, day. So take care.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Zarina, for inviting. And if you guys want to share your feedback or your thoughts, I'm gonna share with you my favorite interview questions in exchange, if you care. Okay. See you soon, everybody. And yeah, it was great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Zarina.
Bye bye.
Okay. Goodbye. Bye.